Welcome to the AI Disability Podcast, where lived experience meets artificial intelligence. My name is John McKenna, using an AI-generated voice to explain that I'm the human producer behind the AI Disability Podcast. I bring over 60 years of lived experience as a person with a physical disability, along with a lifelong interest in accessibility, inclusion, and the power of shared experiences. As producer, my role is to choose the themes for each episode, guided by my belief that some messages, experiences, and conversations need to continue to be heard. From there, artificial intelligence researches the theme, develops the conversations using two synthetic voices you will hear as your hosts. Together, we explore disability, technology, accessibility, inclusion, and the future possibilities of AI. Because this podcast is AI generated, listeners are encouraged to independently verify information. The content is designed to encourage discussion, curiosity, and exploration, and should not be assumed to always be complete, accurate, or factual. The voices are artificial. The message is real.
Imagine you're choosing what to have for dinner, where to live, or whether to see a doctor, and someone smiles kindly, then decides for you. Not because you asked them to, because they think they're helping.
And that tiny shift from helping someone decide to deciding for them is the whole story today. It's about supported decision-making, intellectual disability, human rights, and respect.
I'm Riley, and with me is Ashley. We're keeping this really plain today because this topic can sound legal and complicated, but at heart it's about everyday life.
You got it, Riley. Supported decision-making simply means a person gets the help they need to make their own choices. That help might be extra time, easier words, pictures, a trusted person beside them, or practicing smaller decisions first.
So we're not talking about a special favor. We're talking about the same thing most of us do all the time, right? I ask friends about jobs, my sister about money, and the internet about whether my plant is dead.
Yes, and your plant may need an advocate, but seriously, everyone uses support. The difference is that people with intellectual disability are often treated as if needing support means they shouldn't be the decision maker.
Let's define that carefully. Intellectual disability usually means a person may learn, understand, communicate, or solve problems in different ways, and they may need support with some parts of daily life.
And it's not one thing. One person might read slowly but understand people brilliantly. Another might use pictures, gestures, or a communication device. So support has to match the person, not the label.
That feels like the first respect point. Don't start with, can this person decide? Start with, what support would help this person decide?
That's the heart of it. Australian disability rights thinking has moved towards asking about will and preferences, meaning what the person wants, values, enjoys, worries about, and chooses when they're properly supported.
Give me a simple example, Ashley, because I reckon this can sound abstract until you put it in a kitchen or a doctor's room.
Okay, imagine Kai lives with housemates. Kai is vegetarian, the others aren't. A respectful approach doesn't say, too hard, everyone eats the same. It helps the household talk, plan meals, use separate utensils, and make space for Kai's choice.
That's so ordinary, which is the point. It's dinner, but it's also identity, culture, health, and feeling at home.
Exactly. Or imagine Tyson going to urgent care. He wants a support person there, but he wants to speak to the doctor himself. The supporter can help by writing things down, slowing the conversation, and stepping in only when asked.
So the supporter isn't the star of the show. They're more like subtitles, a map, or someone holding the torch while you walk your own path.
That's a lovely way to put it. The best support makes the person's own voice easier to hear. It doesn't replace that voice with a louder, more confident one.
Now let's talk legality in Australia, because people hear rights and sometimes think it means a nice idea rather than something with legal weight.
Australia has signed the United Nations Disability Rights Convention. Article 12 is especially important because it says people with disability have equal recognition before the law and should get support to exercise legal capacity.
Legal capacity, meaning the right to make decisions that count legally, not just opinions people politely listen to and then ignore.
Yes, in plain English, it's the right to be treated as a person whose choices matter. That can include decisions about health, money, relationships, services, housing, and who spends time with you.
But here's where I get stuck. Australia still has guardianship and administration laws, and they can let another person make decisions for someone. How does that fit?
Here's where it gets nuanced. Guardianship laws are different in each state and territory. They can be used when a tribunal decides a person can't make certain decisions, even with support, and another person is legally appointed.
So, supported decision making is the first path, and substitute decision making, where someone else decides, should be more like a last resort.
That's the direction modern law and policy are pushing. The idea is least restriction. Don't take away more freedom than necessary, and don't assume one difficult decision means someone can't make any decisions.
That matters, because someone might need help managing a large amount of money but still know exactly where they want to live, what food they like, and who they trust.
Yes, capacity is decision specific and can change. A person may make a decision well in the morning, with pictures, in a quiet room, with someone they trust. The same person may struggle when rushed, stressed, or surrounded by strangers.
That sounds less like a fixed trait and more like a relationship between the person, the environment, and the support around them.
That's exactly it. If I give you a contract in legal jargon at midnight while 3 people interrupt you, I haven't proved you lack capacity. I've created a terrible decision-making environment.
Fair. I barely have capacity to choose a streaming show under those conditions.
Same. And for people with intellectual disability, the consequences can be much bigger than a bad movie. It can affect where they live, whether they work, medical treatment, friendships, and control over money.
Let's name the tension, though. Families, carers, and workers often worry about risk. They might think, if I let this person choose, what if something goes wrong?
That's a real concern, and it's not cruel. The strongest version of that argument is safety. People can be exploited, pressured, overcharged, isolated, or harmed, and supporters may feel a duty to prevent that.
I hear that. If someone you love is vulnerable, stepping back can feel irresponsible. You might think, respect is lovely, but I need them safe by Friday afternoon.
True. But the counterpoint is strong too. If protection always means control, the person never gets to learn, practice, make small mistakes, build confidence, or experience what many disability advocates call dignity of risk.
Dignity of risk is such a useful phrase. It means people have a right to take reasonable risks, not be wrapped in bubble wrap until their life gets very safe and very small.
Exactly. Respect doesn't mean abandoning someone to danger. It means explaining options, talking through benefits and risks, checking for pressure, giving time, and then honouring the person's values as much as possible.
So the middle ground isn't reckless freedom or total control. It's supported freedom with safeguards.
Yes, a good supporter might say, here are 3 options. Here's what could go well. Here's what could go badly. Who do you want to talk to? Do you want pictures, a list, or time to think?
And they should also check themselves. Am I giving advice or am I steering? Am I making this easier for the person or easier for me?
That's huge. Conflicts of interest can creep in quietly. A supporter might prefer the cheaper option, the safer option, the more convenient option, or the option that reduces paperwork. None of that automatically equals the person's will.
What does good support look like in practice? If I live in a capital city or a regional town and thinking, okay, what do I actually do?
Start small and structured. Identify the decision. Work out how the person communicates yes, no, uncertainty, excitement, or discomfort. Gather information in a form they understand. Talk through risks. Then reflect afterwards. Did this feel like their decision?
I like the reflection part because respect isn't just one big heroic moment. It's a habit you build over time.
And records help too, especially for bigger decisions. Not cold, bureaucratic records, but clear notes. What options were discussed, what the person said or showed, who was present, and how the final choice matched their preferences.
Let's bring in money, because that's often where people's anxiety spikes. If a person with intellectual disability wants to spend money in a way others don't agree with, what then?
The answer isn't automatically stop them. It might be budgeting support, visual spending plans, practice with small amounts, trusted banking conversations, or talking through consequences. But if there's abuse, coercion, or serious financial risk, legal advice may be needed.
And that's an important line. This episode isn't legal advice. Laws differ across Australia, and formal roles like guardian, administrator, nominee, attorney, or registered supporter can have specific powers and limits.
Yes, and another key point, a supporter usually helps a person decide. They don't automatically have legal authority to decide for them. If someone claims decision-making power, it's reasonable to ask what law or appointment gives that power.
That distinction is so practical. Support with the decision is not the same as ownership of the decision.
Beautifully said. And when systems get this right, people benefit in very ordinary but powerful ways. More confidence, better communication, stronger self-advocacy, and lives that look more like their own.
I also want to touch on culture. In Australia, decision-making doesn't happen in a vacuum. Family, community, language, faith, country, and cultural obligations can all shape what a good decision feels like.
Absolutely. For Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, culturally safe support may involve family or community in ways that mainstream systems don't always understand. The key is still the person's will and preferences, not a one-size-fits-all model.
So respect means asking, not assuming. It might mean an interpreter, easy read information, more time, a quiet space, or a trusted auntie, brother, friend, or advocate in the room.
And it means avoiding baby talk. Easy to understand doesn't mean childish. Adults deserve adult respect, even when information is simplified.
That might be one of the clearest takeaways today. Make the information easier, not the person's life smaller.
Yes, and challenge low expectations. If someone hasn't been allowed to decide much before, they may need time to learn what they like, what they don't like, and how to say it safely.
So if we pull it all together, supported decision-making is not a form, a slogan, or a box to tick. It's a respectful practice.
It's also a human rights issue. People with intellectual disability have the same right to direct their own lives as everyone else. And Australian law is increasingly recognising that support should come before substitution.
And the unresolved bit is how well we actually do it in real life. Because good intentions don't always create good support.
That's my final thought. The next time we think, I'll just decide, it's quicker. Pause and ask, what would help this person decide? That pause can be a profound act of respect.
Ashley, thank you. And thanks to you for listening. If today's episode made you think of someone in your life, start with one small decision, slow it down, and make room for their voice. I'm Riley, and we'll catch you next time.